My life veered off in a direction I never saw coming. Honestly, it still feels like something out of a dream, or maybe a strange movie, and I just need to talk about it. So hang tight, because things are about to get a little messy. I first met Rachel back in my freshman year of college. Funny enough, we ended up living in the same dorm, even though I was technically a year ahead of her. Our first meeting happened at one of those painfully awkward mixers the RA threw together: cheap punch, dry cookies, and conversations no one actually wanted to have. I only showed up because my roommate got tired of me spending every weekend glued to my Xbox, grinding away at Call of Duty. I remember standing there zoning out by the snack table when I reached for the last cookie that didn't look like a total disappointment, and so did someone else. That someone turned out to be Rachel. Long, dark hair, a knockout smile, legs for days. We started talking and somehow just clicked. Turns out we were practically neighbors back home, living only 2 blocks apart. After that, every time we headed back for school breaks, I gave her a ride. Those long drives gave us plenty of time to open up, and before we knew it, we were officially a thing. Both of us were pretty close to our families, so meeting the parents happened fairly early on. Her dad was a man of few words, worked in construction. Her mom taught school. I met them one weekend on the way home, and they both came across as warm, genuine folks. Nothing fancy, just good people. Introducing Rachel to my family was a whole different production. My mom, Susan, went all out. Fresh linens on the table, full spread of homemade food, the whole 9 yards. My dad, Frank, he was 52 at the time, was practically bouncing off the walls to meet her. He'd always had this slightly flirty streak when Susan wasn't looking, but I'd chalked it up to him just being goofy. Still, when he greeted her with, "So this is the girl who's got my son walking around like he's in a dream?" it made me raise an eyebrow. Susan gave him one of her signature looks, but didn't say anything. After I wrapped up school, I moved back home and took a job at a local factory. It wasn't anything glamorous, but it covered the bills and came with decent benefits. Rachel and I moved in together, and 3 years down the road, I popped the question at the lake where we'd had our first real date. She said yes, with happy tears running down her cheeks, and we dove straight into wedding plans. Her parents even offered to chip in financially, which was more than we ever expected. It was around this time that little things started creeping in. Stuff I probably should have paid more attention to. My dad began calling Rachel directly, and it wasn't just now and then, it was frequent. At first, I thought it was kind of sweet, like he was just trying to welcome her into the family, but soon enough, it started feeling off. Anytime he needed something, instead of reaching out to me, he'd go straight to her. I remember one day Rachel was in the shower and her phone rang. I picked it up without thinking, expecting maybe her mom or one of her friends. But it was my dad, and the second he heard my voice, he sounded thrown off, almost irritated, like he hadn't expected or wanted to talk to me. Then, about 6 months before the wedding, Rachel went through a sudden change. She got laser focused on hitting the gym every day, started buying these form-fitting workout outfits, dyed her hair blonde, and began wearing makeup around the house, even on lazy Sundays. I tried to play it cool and joked, "What, you seeing someone on the side?" She laughed it off, but something about it didn't sit right with me. One day I came home from work earlier than usual. I heard the shower running, so I called out to let her know I was there. No answer. When she finally stepped out, she looked surprised, almost rattled. Said she'd just come back from the gym, but I didn't see her gym bag anywhere. Not in the entryway, not by the laundry. Nowhere. And things just kept getting stranger. Whenever she was around my dad, her whole vibe would shift. In front of people, she'd tease him, call him old man, and crack jokes. But when it was just the two of them, she got real quiet and fidgety, like a kid hiding something. One time I caught them sitting way too close on our couch, heads together looking at something on his phone. As soon as they noticed me, they jumped apart like guilty teenagers. He tried to play it off, saying they were just reminiscing about that cabin we'd rented one summer. I wanted to believe him. I really did. Then came the moment that hit like a punch to the gut. I swung by the house during my lunch break. Wasn't planned, just felt like grabbing a bite and maybe surprising Rachel. But the second I pulled up, my stomach started to twist. My dad's silver Audi was parked right there in our spot. Same dent in the back bumper. It was definitely his. I stepped inside and found a trail of clothes leading from the front door straight to our bedroom. Right then and there, I knew something was very, very wrong. I recorded everything. Every little bit. The trail of clothes, the tie I'd given him for Christmas tossed aside, even his wallet just lying there on the floor like he owned the place. I kept the camera rolling as I walked to the bedroom. And there they were, together, in my bed, my girlfriend, and my own father. I completely lost it. Without even thinking, I swung at him. Fist met face, and he crashed into the doorframe with a sickening thud. Rachel screamed, but not for me. She screamed for him. That moment told me everything I needed to know. That was it. The line had been crossed, and there was no going back. I looked them both dead in the eye, voice flat and cold, and said, "You? You're not my father anymore. As far as I'm concerned, you're dead to me." Then I turned around and walked out. I headed straight to work, dropped off my paperwork like a robot, trying to act normal. But my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I had the whole thing on video. There was no room for excuses, no way they could twist the story. My boss could tell something was seriously wrong. I showed him the footage, and after a long pause, he just looked at me and said, "Take all the time you need, man." Back at the house, I stripped the bed clean, stuffed every piece of bedding into a trash bag. Anything that reminded me of what had happened had to go. Then I packed up all of Rachel's stuff, every last item, and messaged her parents. "The wedding's off. I found Rachel in bed with my dad. Her things are outside. Please come get them." Her mom didn't believe me at first. Thought maybe I was joking or exaggerating. But when I mentioned I had it on video, she fell completely silent. That night, she showed up with Rachel's younger brother, Jason. They didn't say much, just gathered up the boxes quietly. Her mom hugged me before they left. Her face was streaked with tears, and she looked like she wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. The next day, I went over to talk to Susan. I thought maybe she'd understand. But the second she stepped outside, she was furious, yelling, accusing me of being violent, saying I'd attacked Rachel. I stood there in shock. Then it hit me. My father had already gotten to her. He told her I flew into a drunken rage and assaulted both of them. I tried to explain to get a word in, but she slapped me across the face before I could finish. So I did the only thing left to do. I pulled out my phone and showed her the video. I watched her face go from confusion to heartbreak in a matter of seconds. That pain, seeing the truth hit her like that, it cut deep. Finally, she said, "Just go." And so I did. I checked into a cheap motel on the edge of town, turned off my phone, and sat there trying to figure out my next move. I used the money we'd saved for the wedding to break our lease and started looking for a new place. Ended up finding a small apartment across town. For the first time in years, I called in sick to work. That's when my mind went to Grandpa Henry. He was a sharp, no-nonsense kind of man. The type who built his wealth from the ground up in construction and real estate. My dad was always supposed to be the golden boy, the heir to the empire. But he never really earned it. It was handed to him, and he treated it like a birthright, not a responsibility. I picked up the phone and called Grandpa, told him everything. He didn't interrupt, didn't ask questions, just listened. When I was done, he simply asked, "Do you have proof?" I sent him the video. 5 minutes later, he called me back. "I'll take care of it," he said, and hung up. 2 days passed. Then I got a call from my cousin Derek. He said that during breakfast at the country club, Grandpa had stood up right in the middle of the dining room and, with every eye on him, declared, "A man who betrays his own son is not worthy of my name." Just like that, in front of everyone, he disowned my father. Silence fell across the room. No one said a word. Then came the fallout. Grandpa had the locks changed at the office. My dad's work email? Gone. His name was scrubbed from every file. His office cleared out. Even the will was updated that same day. The club revoked his membership, and just like that, everything he'd taken for granted was ripped away. Then came the desperate call. I saw his name flash across my screen. Against my better judgment, I answered. He was frantic. "He's taking everything," he yelled. "My job, my legacy." I didn't flinch. I just said, "Go to hell," and hung up. Then I blocked his number. A week later, Susan called. Her voice was different, tired but firm. "Frank's gone," she said. "I kicked him out, filed for divorce the next day." Turns out Grandpa had been one step ahead there too. He'd made sure there was a prenup, and it had a solid infidelity clause. My dad would walk away with nothing. No house, no cars, no savings, nothing. As for Rachel, she moved back in with her folks. She kept trying to get in touch, texting, calling, leaving voicemails that I'd never listened to. Then she dropped a bombshell, said she was pregnant, claimed she didn't know if the baby was mine or my father's. That was it for me. I told her flat out, I'm not going to raise a child that could be my half-brother. I blocked her again, this time for good. These days, I'm a floor supervisor at the factory. Pays better, hours are solid, and no one at work knows anything about the storm I went through. I moved to a quieter part of town, somewhere with no ghosts hiding around every corner. Grandpa and I talk all the time now. After everything went down, he gave me back the money I'd saved for the wedding and told me to put it toward building my future instead. That meant more to me than I can even say. I'm 30 now, and life looks nothing like the picture I had in my head a few years ago. But here's one thing I know for damn sure, I will never turn out like my father.